My family was gone, and the crushing burden of their debt was about to consume me. I was just 10 years old. But then Silas's father, the boss, stepped in. He didn't just pay it. He gave me a home, a name, and a duty. Silas, the son, was only 5 years older. I was groomed to be his protector, and when the father died, I stayed. I took the blows, endured the scolding, and waited on the sidelines. His shadow was the only place I wanted to be. I don't know when the loyalty that bound me transformed. I just know that one day, the 10-year-old boy's dedication had become the 25-year-old man's secret love. I'm not made for the violence of this world, yet I threw myself into it for him. The one thing I was good at, hiding my heart, became my greatest defense. I thought I could stay hidden forever. Then, the police officer arrived. What began as a case, as a fight, suddenly thawed the ice around Silas's heart. He was smiling, a genuine, worry-free smile I had never witnessed. My duty shifted to arranging their dates, ensuring their safety. It hurt, but when I stood outside that door, listening to their laughter turn to lovemaking, that's when my heart became truly weak. My partner, Silas's favorite, noticed. He saw the clench of my fist, the teary eyes. He never said a word. Things continued that way for a year, until the darkness caught up. The officer walked out, and Silas shattered, becoming a storm of brutality. The rivals saw their chance. Drugs were planted, and through a cruel twist of fate, the blame fell squarely on me. Without a single word of justification, Silas's eyes looked ready to kill me. My partner told me to speak. I spoke a truth I'd guarded for years. I was hiding this. I confessed, showing him the small box where I kept the tokens of his appreciation. That night, I was here just to feel close to you. When Silas asked why I kept them, I finally said it. I love you. I'm sorry. Silas didn't utter a word. From that day, my life was miserable. Field work, distance. The crushing silence replaced the heartbreaking warmth I craved. But Silas wasn't well either. No lover, no man, no violence could satisfy the tension building inside him. Every desire was getting pent up. New Year's Eve, a restaurant, a spill, in a quiet bathroom. I began to take off my shirt, not seeing Silas standing there, trying to escape his own mounting frustration. I felt his gaze first. I turned, shocked, exposed. But the apology didn't matter. Silas moved forward, sudden and unavoidable, trapping me against the cold marble wall. It was a furious, primal grab for the only man who still felt real in his life. We spent the night in the boss's private room. I left before the sun had fully risen. It had to be a mistake. Silas was drunk. He wouldn't remember. But for me, that fragile happiness was enough. Silas was outwardly his usual brutal self, but the energy around him had shifted. It was an odd kind of relief, a wicked happiness. Yet, the cruelty remained, and the distance was enforced. The tension became a living thing. Silas never mentioned that night, but he found ways to make me pay for the memory. My distance was revoked, replaced by plausible excuses. Every command was a mission to keep me close, but always under the guise of duty. He was addicted to having me near, but terrified of admitting he was addicted to me. One night, the late brief finished. Silas looked up, his eyes dark and empty of all reason. Then, he knocked a stack of papers to the floor. "Pick those up, Alan. Now." I lowered myself, consumed by humiliation. When my hand reached for the papers, his voice cut the silence again. I said, "Pick them up. All of them." As I knelt there, exposed on the floor, I felt the sharp leather of his shoe press lightly, possessively, into the side of my chest. It was a gesture of ownership, but it was also the first physical contact since New Year's, cold, brutal, and yet electrifying. I froze. He leaned down, his breath ghosting over my ear. "You belong to me, Alan." And in that single, terrible sentence, the distance dissolved. He pulled me up from the floor, and the game was over. This time it was cold, sober, agonizing need. His need to dominate the man who dared to love him, and my need to submit to the man who saved my life. For the second time, I left that room before the dawn, carrying the knowledge that I was not just his bodyguard, but his release.